Tractate Bava Batra, page 130, top of the page of the Mishnah. The subject of inheritance, obviously, it's a painful subject, sometimes totally divided families, and the worst thing that one can have is a family feud over inheritance. That's, in a sense, we the Jewish people are so lucky to have a clear structure of Torah that gives us a very clear instructions when and where and how we can express our ideas within the structure of the Torah. And we explained in the past shiurim, at the moment a person make his own rules, and those rules are basically opposing the structure of the Torah, there is no validity. We also explained that there is a huge difference between a gift during a lifetime, that obviously a person has the right to give gift whatever he wished to, versus a subject of Yerusha, of inheritance, that the person have a very clear structure, meaning if you have a first son, he needs to get double portion, he has a clear level of gradation, from the first is the son, then if there's no son, there is a daughter, there is a next step which is the father, if there's no father, it can be the brother, and then the brother of the father, etc. So it's a very clear level of gradation when it's come to inheritance. The question is, what happens if a person wish to make some changes in that structure? Is that valid or not? What exactly, when the statements say, "V'haya b'yom hanchilo et banav," the Torah said, when it turns the day that the person decided to give inheritance of his estate, how exactly dibur piv, his expression of mouth, can change, or if is any possibility for that, to change sidrei Yerusha. So here we are, and we start with the case of someone who is on a deathbed. It's called Gemarrah, is about to die soon, and he wants to find a different way than the structure of the Torah. It can be for many reasons. האומר איש פלוני יירשני במקום שיש בת. So this is a case of someone that he decided that he wants, for example, thank you, to give to his brother instead of his daughter. So let's say he's no son, he have a daughter, and for all kind of reason he decided that he wants to give his estate to his brother. And we explained earlier that we have different levels, because if there's no son, son take precedence, but if there's no son, then there's a daughter. Or another option, he said, "Biti tirasheni b'makom sheyesh ben." He said, I would like to have my daughter get the Yerusha, get the inheritance instead of my son. Guess what? The Mishnah said, "Lo amar klum." His word is meaningless. Why? Shehitna al ma shekatuv b'Torah. Since the Torah tells us clearly in the book of Deuteronomy how one should structure the Yerusha, the inheritance. So then the moment he make a stipulation, a t'nai, something that in a way contradicted the structure of the Torah, so is no validity to his t'nai. Now is another view, which is Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka Omer, אם אמר על מי שראוי ליורשו דבריו קיימים. So we have to understand, number one, we have to remember the Rashbam said, we are talking about Yerusha, not matana, not a gift. But if he said something that it's basically for someone who is fit to inherit him, then obviously his statement stands. ועל מי שאין ראוי ליורשו אין דבריו קיימים. So if it's someone who's not fit to inherit him, then it's not. Now later the Gemara discuss if this is hesber, if this is an explanation to the above, or it's a machloket, it's real disputation between the first view and Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. So now the Gemara zoom in to understand the first view. And they said, Ta'ama, the reason that someone who inherited, it's considering a matne, he conditioned, he stipulated over something that is written in the Torah, it's because the acher bimkom bat, which means you have a daughter and she take precedence before someone else, and you basically overrule the Torah in a sense that you commanded to give the inheritance to a stranger or someone who's the longest distance than your daughter. Ubat bimkom ben, or if you commanded to give you estate to the daughter, while you know that by the Torah law, if you have a son take precedence before daughter. So therefore you basically try to overrule the rules of the Torah, and therefore in these specific cases his statement is not valid. Ha ben abanim. But if the father decided to give inheritance to one of many sons that he has, ubat ben abanot, or he decided to select it in a sense of favoritism for all kind of reason, that he wants to give one daughter more than the others, dvarav kayamim. So again, the big question is, did he created a new entity, or it's part of what? That's part of the discussion of the Rashbam and the Rimigash, how far you go with his statement, and when and where and how it carries an effect. A good example is, let's say if you have a disabled daughter and he wants to take care of all the expenses involved with a special treatment. So obviously in some, again, circumstance it can be done, but as we said many times, when it's come to a practical halacha, you need to get counsel from a prominent posek, someone who's really familiar, who's well recognized to instruct you to do it right. Eima seifa. So now we have to understand the last clause of the Mishnah, which is the statement of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka Omer, Im amar al mi שראוי להורשו דבריו קיימים. If his statement was made for someone who is entitled at this point to be his heir, for example, son among other sons, daughter among the other daughters, then his word stand. So hainu tanakama. So what's the difference between this and the first Tana? What exactly Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka contradicted him? וכי תימא רבי יוחנן בן ברוקה אפילו אחר במקום בת ובת במקום בן כמה. והתניא רבי ישמעאל בנו של רבי יוחנן בן ברוקה אומר, לא נחלקו אבא, my father רבי יוחנן בן ברוקה בחכמים, על אחר במקום בת ובת במקום בית, שלא אמרו כלום. על מה נחלקו? What exactly the disputation? על בן הבנים ובת בן הבנות. If the one who is inherited is a son among sons, or daughter among daughters. שאבא אומר יירש והחכמים אומרים לא יירש. That basically the first view is that this specific son or daughter entitled to their inheritance, versus the sages said that no, he cannot have. So basically what we see here that Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka agree upon, that a person cannot inherit his estate if there is someone who's not befitting by the structure of the gradation in Torah to inherit him. So basically our questions come back to scene, which is what exactly the disputation between Tanakama and Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka in our Mishnah. And again the question is, if you tell me that both view is the person can inherit his estate only to someone who is by law can entitle to get inheritance from him and not someone else, so what exactly? So here we propose with two answers. The first one, Iba'it Eima, Mideke Amar, by the merely fact that Rabbi Ishmael said, Lo nechleku, Abba and Chachamim did not dispute it when it's come to someone else instead of the daughter, or daughter instead of the son, Michlal the Tanakama, from here, the Tanakama, Rabbeinu Gershom said, of Rabbi Ishmael, or the Palgei Chaverav, the Rashbam said, Savar, that Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka and the sages nechelku, they basically disputed in this type of circumstance. So follow that, the Mishnah followed this view that hold that according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, a person can inherit his estate also to stranger, meaning someone is a far distance instead of his children, and or the daughter instead of a son. So it means that you have a clear disputation in the Mishnah between Tanakama and Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. That's the first answer. The second one, I ba'it eima, that basically there is no disputation between Rabbi Ishmael, and they all agree, the view of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka and the sages, not disputed of a situation like a stranger instead of son or daughter, or and the whole concept is kule de Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, which means the entire Mishnah follow the Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, v'chasurei mechasra ve'achi ketani. It's, you have to see the Mishnah, it's like some line was missing, and that's the way it should be. Ha'omer ish ploni yirasheni, if someone said, Mr. So-and-so will inherit me, במקום שיש לו בת, if he has a daughter, ביתי תירשני, במקום שיש לו בן, לא אמר כלום. He says, my daughter will inherit me instead of my son, it doesn't carry any weight. However, ha-bat ben abanot, uben ben abanim, if he's a daughter among other daughters, or if a son among other sons that they are part of the heir, אם אמר יירש כל נכסיו דברים קיימים, if he claim that he gets all the estate, he has a carry a weight. שרבי יוחנן בן ברוקה אומר, אמר על מי שראוי להורשו דבריו קיימים. So again, the whole idea is the first explanation of the Gemara. The Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka hold that a person can inherit his estate not only to a son among the son, and even if to the brother among his son or daughter. The second one that said that the entire Mishnah followed the view of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, that it means that the person can inherit his estate to a son among his sons, but when it's come to brother instead of daughter, or daughter instead of a son, so that's not effective. And the Mishnah that we studied earlier on page 126b hold that even son among the sons, a person cannot inherit his estate. So now the Gemara bring a practical halacha, which is in a way rare because you don't find it all the time. So אמר רב יהודה אמר שמואל הלכה כרבי יוחנן בן ברוקה וכן אמר רבא הלכה כרבי יוחנן בן ברוקה. So one view is that a person can inherit his estate even in a sense to his brother instead of his son or daughter, or son instead, or daughter instead of son, or the person can give his estate only to the son among the sons, or daughter among the daughter. So it means mishira'ui, someone is befitting. Amar Rava, ma itamed Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka? Rava said, what's the rationale, the reason of the view of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka? He said, Amar Kra, we zoom in the Deuteronomy 21, verse 16, V'haya b'yom hanchilo et banav. Then it shall be in the day that he causes his sons to inherit. HaTorah natna reshut le'arav le'anchi lechol mi shirtze. The Torah gives the right to a person to give inherited to whoever his wish among his son. So again, it has to be spelled out clearly that that's his wishes. Is a disputation among the more contemporary. You see it in Avi Ezra, Ilchot Zechariah Machana, you see it in also Shiur Rabbi Shmuel, you see it in many Rishonim, Rabbi Aryeh Leib, Kovetz Shiurim, and many others. If this type of statement applies to a person's estate, which means if the father has the right to inherit one of his sons, his entire estate, or if he makes one of his children Yoresh Yachid, the only son, and therefore he is the only one who inherited. Because the big question is, if a person can inherit something that is lo bala olam, that is not happened yet because he's still alive, or if the father can renegade his views. But anyway, אמר רבא מאי טעמי דרבי יוחנן בן ברוקה, אמר קרא והיה במנחם בתחילו את בניו. So we derive from that, the Torah gave the father permission to bequeath his estate to whoever he wish among his sons. אמר לאביי, המילא יוכל לבקר נפקה. We said when is a person have two wives, and the first wife is the hated wife in the Torah, and then he's come to inheritance, he cannot show partiality, he cannot make the one son of the one he likes more than the firstborn. לא יוכל לבקר. So it means that only the portion of the firstborn the father cannot transfer from the firstborn to another son, but the rest of the estate the father can inherit it to other sons. So the Gemara said, it's necessary for, we learn in the Braita, which is the lo yuchal levaker. Amar Hanan, Amar Mishum, Abba Hanan Amar Mishum Rabbi Eliezer. 129b, Ma Talmud lomar lo yuchal levaker. This is sensitive, but let's see the language of the Torah. The Torah is not, it's very prudent with words, so it has to, the Torah in Dvarim, in Deuteronomy 21 said, if a person have two wives, the first one was the hated one, but he have a firstborn from her. And then he have the second one that he likes. So the Torah said, when it's come to inheritance, he cannot give the child from the second wife more than the first wife. The first wife child deserve to get double portion as the firstborn, and that's the structure of the Torah. So lo yuchal levaker, it's obvious because the Torah said ki et abchor ben hasnu'a yakir, because the first one from the one he did not like he should recognize. So obviously it looks like superfluous. So the answer is lefi shenemar baya beyom anchilo et banav. The Torah said the time comes that he planned to set up the inheritance, as Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka said earlier, שיכול והלודין ומה פשוט שיופק כוחו שנוטל בראוי כבן מוחזק. The same way as a regular son that we said that the ordinary one who is not the firstborn, whose power is in hands in that he takes the inheritance of the property due the deceased, that he does the property the deceased possessed at the time he died. And as we explained many times, that Yara'ui, it's the current situation, muhzak, meaning that something that he gets after the father is no longer among the living. התורה נתנה רשות לאב להנחיל לכל מי שירצה. The Torah gives the father the right, והיה ביום הנחילו את בניו to whoever he wished to. בכל שהוא רק כוחו שלא נוטל בראוי כבמוחזק. The Torah said that we have to differentiate when is a firstborn, that he will not take the same the estate that bechol asher yimatzeh lo, which means only muhzak, only estate that he have now, not something that is ra'ui, that is a potential to get in the future. Lo kol sheken, how much so that the father can inherit it to other son. Talmud lomar lo yuchal levaker. Lo yuchal levaker meaning he may not make the son of the beloved the firstborn. ויאמר לא יוכל לבקר מה תלמוד לומר והיה ביום הנחילו את בניו. Why you need both? שיכול והלודינו. ומה בכור שהוא רק כוחו שנוטל בראוי כבמוחזק, he will not take something that he is befitting at this moment to something that is in the future, which means the future after the father is passed away. אמרה תורה לא יוכל לבקר, he cannot get in a sense more, he may not take the son of the beloved, the firstborn. פשוט, a regular average ordinary son שיופק כוחו שנוטל בראוי כבמוחזק לו כל שכן. תלמוד לומר והיה ביום הנחילו את בניו, התורה נתנה רשות לאב להנחיל לכל מי שירצה. אמר רבי זריקה, אמר רבי ימי, אמר רבי חנין, אמר רבי הלכה כרבי יוחנן בן ברוקה. אמר לי רבי אבא, הוראי יתמר. So Rabbi Abba said, you mean to say that Rabbi Yehuda Anasi rule in actual case follow the view of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka? במייקה מפלגי מר סבר הלכה עדיף או מר סבר מעשה רב. Difference is that the Rabbi Zreika hold that the ruling in principle is preferable source for halacha rather than a ruling from an incident, And Rabbi Abba hold that a specific incident ruled upon by a sage is a preferable source. תנו רבנן בלמדים הלכה לא מפי לימוד ולא מפי מעשה. The way that we learn the halacha, it's neither from a statement nor from an incident where one saw a ruling issue in a certain manner. עד שיאמרו לו הלכה למעשה, which means Rashbam explained, you ask your teacher and he tells you clearly that that's the way he has to do it. שאל ואמרו לו הלכה למעשה ילך ויעשה מעשה ולבד שלא ידמה. לבד שלא ידמה meaning that he does not compare between cases and apply the ruling to other circumstances. מהי ולבד שלא ידמה והכל התורה כולה דמויה מדמינלה. אמר רבי אשי אחרי כמה ולבד שלא ידמה בטריפות. דתניא אומרים בטריפות זו דומה לזו ואל תתמש הרי חותך מכאן ומכאן. That's the צומת הגידים. But basically he cut from one side and the animal dies within 12 זמן, so שרך אותך מכאן ומתח אותך מכאן, ואל תתמש שרך אותך מכאן ומתח אותך מכאן וחיה. You go by the צומת הגידים is one way, but if it's cut from another side, it's a לי, it's a stay alive. אמר לרבי אסי לרבי יוחנן, כי אמר לנו מה הלכה כאחי, נעביד מעשה, אמר לו לא תעבידו עד אמין הלכה למעשה, should not do it until it's a practical הלכה. So person kind of, that's the Rashbam said, that until it's a real practical. But anyway, אמר לו רבה לרב פאפה ולרבונה בן רב יהושע, כי עתי פסקה דידי לקמייכו, which means when you come and you see ruling that I made that you need to practice, וחזותי בפירך, and you see something that is basically challenge, לא תקראו עד דעתי ולקמי. You do not abrogate until you talk to me. And come before me and we have a discussion. If you have an explanation, fine. Otherwise I can back out. Usually when the judge rules, he cannot change his ruling. But here they talk about something that is total mistake. That's the Tashbet Chelek Bet in Kufyut Bet explained in Mukhios Everan as well. Anyway, לאחר מיתה, if you see something contradicted toward my ruling after I'm no longer among the living, לא מקרא תקראו, don't total abrogated it, ומגמר נמי לא תגמרו מני, but you not derive any learning from that. לא מקרא תקני דיבתי הטעם, דילמה הווה אמינא להו טעמייכו. So you should not tear it up as if I had been there. Perhaps I'll have told you a valid explanation that you will accept it. So obviously you see explanation. So as we said earlier, the Ran explained that if it was a total mistake, so that's a total different story. Otherwise, obviously I may have explanation.